I'm really excited to teach you what I'm about to teach you in this video because I'm such a big believer in mixing up the way you train and making every workout you ever do different to the last. No workout of mine is ever the same, and you might think, how the hell do you constantly mix it up when you're doing over 300 plus workouts per year? But it is really very simple, and it makes a huge difference in the results you see from your training. So what a training variation actually is, it is a different technique or a different style of lifting to what you would do normally in a given set. Most of us, when we train, we do, let's say 20 sets per workout, consisting of failing the rep range of 8 to 15 reps, and that's it. That would be a finished workout. Now each set is the same. You repeat the same exercise 4 or 5 times, failing in the correct rep range, and then you move on to the next exercise and so on until you finish your workout. Now for most people who don't know what I am about to teach you, that is what a normal workout would consist of. Don't get me wrong, training like this is fine, 3, 4 or 5 workouts in a row, but then the reason people start dropping off and giving up is because it gets boring and repetitive and the results start slow. This is where you need to mix up your training style by incorporating the variations I'm about to teach you. I'm going to cover 6 different training variations I want you to start including in your own workouts. These variations are going to make your workouts a lot harder, they're going to make your training more enjoyable, and they're going to get your results so much faster than just training normally. Not incorporating these techniques, I want you to watch all my workout videos with voiceovers, as you will see me perform all of the training variations I'm about to teach you. The first technique or training variation I want to cover is called a drop set. A drop set is the practice of working to complete muscular exhaustion with a single weight, then stripping off between 30 to 50% off that weight so you're able to complete more reps, creating more tears in the muscle, training past the point of failure. When you compare this to a normal set, you are only breaking down the main layer of muscle fibers, which is preventing you from reaching maximum results with your training. Drop sets work to activate the deepest muscle fibers, creating more tears in the muscles, leading to maximum muscle growth. This technique is very effective when it comes to building muscle and dropping fat. So for an example of what a drop set would look like, I want you to watch my exercise demonstration video on leg extensions, because I show you how to do a triple drop set using the leg extension exercise. I'll also show you multiple drop sets in my full 1 hour length workout videos with a voiceover. You do not have to include drop sets on every single exercise you do or every single set you do, but just throw them in there as a variation to make your training or your workouts harder. I've told you 1,000 times, the harder you make your workouts, the better your results are going to be, and by throwing drop sets in every now and then, again, it's really going to speed up the rate you see progress and changes with your body, because it allows you to train past the point of failure. Now, it does not matter what exercise you do a drop set on. You can do them on basically every exercise, but once again, there is no right or wrong. It's all about training to complete failure and breaking your muscles down as much as possible. The next training variation I'm going to cover is called a superset. A superset is when a set of an exercise is performed directly after a set of a different exercise with any rest between them. Once each superset is completed, you then rest for 1.5 to 2 minutes to recover. I like to rest for about 90 seconds in between sets, but once again, everyone is different. This simply yet highly effective technique provides such a big benefit. Since you're performing the sets back to back, you break your muscles down a lot faster, and you actually hit different muscles from different angles because you're using 2 different exercises basically in the same set. So an example of what a superset looks like in my full length chest and bicep workout with a voiceover video. The whole workout is a superset with 2 different exercises straight after the other, and leads to a very hard, intense and successful workout. Now the same rule applies to supersets as it does to drop sets. You do not have to include them supersets on every single exercise you do and every single set you do, but you just have to throw them in there as a variation to make your training that much harder. It does not matter what exercise you do when performing a superset, as they all contribute to breaking your muscles down and making your workouts harder. If you're training 2 different muscle groups in the one workout, let's use chest and biceps for example, you can start with a chest exercise and superset that with a bicep exercise. You could start with a chest exercise and finish also with a chest exercise like I showed in my full length chest workout video with the voiceover. There is no right or wrong to train, it all works. It's all about training to complete failure and breaking your muscles down as much as possible. Every workout you ever do should be different and harder than your last, and that is very easy to do using these different training variations. The next training or exercise variation I'm going to cover is called a giant set. A giant set is a combination of 3 or more exercises with less than 60 seconds in rest in between. Now the difference between giant sets and supersets is that when you do a giant set, you do 3 or more exercises in a row. When you do supersets, you only combine 2 exercises. Also, the rest time in between exercises can be slightly longer when you do a giant set, obviously because you're doing multiple exercises in a row, which trust me is extremely hard. So what a giant set would look like, I can't actually tell you to go look at an example because I don't do them very often, as not only do they destroy your muscles, but they destroy your cardiovascular area as well. Again, let's use chest as an example. In the superset, I showed you how I was doing the incline dumbbell press, then straight onto a push-up immediately after I had finished the dumbbell press. Now, in the case of a giant set, you would move on to a third or fourth, even a fifth different exercise straight after completing the drop set. It does not matter if you do 3, 4 or 5 different exercises to include in your giant set, they're all correct, just mix it up. I personally don't like to do giant sets very often as I find them too cardiovascularly fatigued by the end of it and it actually takes away from my weight training. What I mean by that is I actually give up the set early because I'm too exhausted, not because my muscles are giving way first, but because I'm so cardiovascularly fatigued. This basically just means I need to work on my cardiovascular fitness, which is something I do need to improve on. So yes, giant sets are another great and extremely hard variation you can add into your workouts, and they are a great way to mix up your training style. Now the next variation I'm going to talk to you through is called pause reps. Now pause reps are definitely my preferred method of mixing up my training style, and I honestly use them all the time. A pause rep is a point during a rep where maximum tension is being placed on the muscle being trained, and you stop the movement in that position and pause for a period of 2 to 5 seconds. Now by pausing at the point where maximum tension is being placed on the muscle is going to create a serious burn in that muscle, literally ripping it further apart the whole time you're pausing in that position. I want you to watch my bench press exercise demonstration video as I show you how to incorporate correctly pause reps into your set while bench pressing. You will see me perform the rep correctly, but then I'll pause for about 3 seconds when the bar is just off my chest, as that is where maximum tension is being placed on my pecs. Pause reps allow not to lift crazy heavy weights, which can cause long-term injury or joint soreness, but you will get the same amount of tears plus more in muscles because your tension is being placed on the muscle for a much longer period of time. Again, it does not matter when or how often you incorporate pause reps, they're just another good way to mix up your training and stop your muscles from getting used to the same thing. Some workouts you might include pause reps in every single set, other workouts you might include them in every last of every set. Some workouts you might include them as well as using a drop set in the same set. This is how you mix your training up. You don't need to change the training split every 8 weeks or whatever to stop your body from getting used to the same thing. All you need to do is be creative and throw in multiple variations in every workout. Not only is it going to break your muscles down faster, it will stop your body from getting used to your same standard normal workout. The next training variation I'm going to cover are called negatives. Negatives, as well as all the other variations I've talked you through, are very powerful training techniques that are going to help you get results faster. Negative training is also known as eccentric training. It involves loading a weighted exercise in only the down or muscle lengthening part of the rep. For example, if you are doing a negative squat, you would start with the bar at the weight in the top position and cross your traps. You would then lower the weight down very slowly under full control to the bottom position of the exercise, which is as low as you possibly can on the squat. Once you have fully lowered the weight all the way down as slowly and as controlled as you can explode the weight back up, pushing through your heels at the top of the movement. What actually makes the rep a negative is a slow eccentric or down part of the movement to the bottom of the rep. The longer you keep the tension on your muscle and the longer you take the lower to the weight down to the bottom of the rep from the top rep, the more you are going to get from your negative. Once you lower the weight all the way down, you explosively push the weight back up to top of the rep while locking out and slowly locking back down again, so until you finish the set. You can see me performing a negative set in my full length workout video with voiceover for legs. I use negatives all the time, they're just very effective. The last training variation I'm going to talk you through is called partial reps. A partial rep is a limited range of motion movement that mimics a full range of motion movement. So what that means is you're only completing half to 3/4 of the full range of motion each rep. I know I've consistently told you all my exercise demonstration videos that you need to complete the full range of motion, and yes, that is correct if you're performing the exercise the correct way. This video is about mixing your training style up and making your workouts as hard as possible, so instead of completing the full range of motion, you might only perform 50% of the full range of motion during a partial rep. Now the reason I love partial reps is because you can actually complete 50% range of motion at the point of where the rep and the maximum tension is on the muscle. So basically you are performing the hardest part of the exercise over and over again, which is obviously going to make the set a lot harder. I also love partial reps because as you are only completing 50 to 75% of the full range of motion, you can actually lift heavier than normal because you're not performing the full range of motion. And remember, the harder you make your workouts, the more you are going to get from them. More weight on the partial rep really stresses your nervous system to the point where when you go back to the full range of the rep, it actually feels a lot easier, which means you're getting stronger. Partial reps are a great way to help gradually increase your strength. Now, I personally do not change my training split very often. Every 6 months max I mix up my training split, and the reason I do not need to change my split is because I'm constantly mixing my workouts up with different variations. Drop sets with partial reps, supersets with negatives, whole workouts using only pause reps. Be creative, guys. Once you start incorporating these different techniques, your training becomes a lot more enjoyable. You have a much larger variety of exercise and options to choose from. It becomes a whole lot harder, as you know, the harder you make your workouts, the better results you're going to get. Now, the key to successfully incorporating different training variations into your workouts is to not stress over it and not worry about what you're doing is correct. I've also taught about training techniques like progressive overload, compound movements, isolation exercises, and so on. If you mix up your training style and mix up the variations you use in each workout, you have literally so much variety to choose from when going through your workouts to keep them interesting and, more importantly, keeping them hard. These are all great variations and great techniques you can use in all your workouts. The key is to break your muscles down and perform those variations at 100% training intensity. Try them all, measure the results, look out for which one you enjoy most, and actually have fun with your workouts. The more variation you add into your workouts and the harder you make your workouts, the better your results are going to be. So make sure you try all of them. Make sure you're always training with 100% intensity. Thanks for watching, guys.